have Korean Culture Practicum, and for those of you that are joining us for the first time, like Courtney said, I was born and raised in South Korea, and I came here when I was 13, and so English is my second language, and I, just like what you are doing today, learning about another culture, I've been learning American culture since 2000, and I'm still learning. There's so many idioms that I'm learning and not understanding the origin of it, like beating the dead horse, or beating the dead horse. Don't know, it just doesn't feel right. So I'm still learning too, so thanks to you guys for being here. As Courtney said, I serve as a director for International Center of West Lafayette. We do a lot of culture training, like you guys are sitting in, and we offer English practice conversation groups that are free to a lot of families that come with Purdue students. We're trying to create that comfortable atmosphere where people can just come and practice English. And in the middle, I have both Charlie and Dave here. Awesome. With my business partner, BJ Moyers, sitting in the back, we worked with Chinese delegation with Kokomo before, but this time it's all Korea now, so it's my time to shine, and BJ is sitting in the back where I used to be. So it's, and in my free time, I serve as a reserve officer in Tippecanoe County in Battleground. So, as you know, this has been a monthly series, and we're almost done. One more month, and you will never see me again. Just kidding. So today is the fourth one out of 5 business training, and I hope you guys are planning to join us for the August one, where we'll tie in everything that we have learned throughout this year since April, and have a giant networking event with local Koreans. And I'm trying to recruit more Koreans to come to Kokomo so we can actually have a legit networking event where you get to practice what you have learned from the training. So today we'll go through an overview of Korean cultural faux pas, and talk about different body languages, how you can read Koreans, and maybe have a understanding of different body languages that we are all familiar with, and what could be not so fluent to others. And we'll briefly talk about how to manage conflict and how to show appreciation, and we'll discuss gift giving for practices. Okay, so you've all heard about cultural faux pas, and what I'm trying to get at is we have those in daily lives. It doesn't have to be from cultural barriers. I mean, like, I feel like each family, each group has different culture that we all not be familiar with. So making mistakes is always gonna be there. It's just that it's part of the learning process. So I just wanna make sure that you guys know, like, we will all make mistakes. It's just how we process that, making mistakes, and how to learn from it and move on, and maybe share that with somebody you know to avoid that mistakes again. So I thought about a couple of different countries' cultural faux pas, and I came up with a couple that off of my head. In the U.S., in previous Korean training, we talked about like how it'll be best to avoid strong, intense eye contact, but in America, it's when you're talking to someone, it's common to look directly into your eyes and talk, right? And not tipping. It's like, it's a big no-no in American culture, right? And eating off of another person's plate. In Thailand, apparently patting one's head, especially baby's head, it's a big no-no because it's considered the cleanest part of the body. So it's not done at all, especially to strangers. And in India or other Middle Eastern countries, I think eating with your left hand is a big no-no. So there are a couple, culture customs that that we all have and others have as well. So, I think it was the training with hospitality, or it could have been from chamber training. Someone asked me about hugging. Do Koreans hug? So it's not very common for Koreans hug during the first meeting to show that you're excited to meet another person. So touching, patting, or backslapping, like good job, buddy, kind of thing, in at least during the first meeting is best to avoid. It's you usually see people hugging in Korea if you're in a relationship or close families or relatives. So do you guys hug a lot? Do you think as an American society we hug a lot? Yeah. So you don't see that in Korea. So David, if a Korean customer comes in and meets you for the first time, maybe try not to hug them during your first meeting. Yeah. Another thing, we have talked about this before, especially when you're invited to someone's home that's Korean national, you'll see a bunch of shoes by the front door, which means they don't wear shoes inside the house. So it will be a nice gesture to ask, do you want me to take off my shoes in your home? And we talked about how we usually use both hands to give things and receive things. I think we did that in our first training, how we give out and receive business cards with both hands. That applies to anything. Gifts, or when I'm trying to show you something on my phone, you see Koreans using both hands instead of one. So it's one thing we do as a respect, which I don't really see in America, but you'll definitely see in Korean culture. Smiling at strangers. You guys, we all do this, I think, right? I think this is one thing I had to learn in America, that people smile. I think if you talk to someone from foreign countries, I think they'll agree that Americans smile a lot, especially at strangers. It's such a nice gesture after living here for 20 plus years. It's just so nice to see people smile. But in Korea, smiling at strangers, like walking by, you're gonna come off as a really weird person. I'm saying this because I'm not saying that when you meet Korean person for the first time, don't smile. I'm not saying that. It's just that when you smile at Koreans for the first time, during the first meeting, and they don't smile back, you know that it's just not in our culture to smile. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up in case you go, oh, Korean, like that person didn't smile back at me, what's wrong? But we will smile and engage in conversation when we will have that moment of communicating. So I'm not saying that you should always frown at Koreans. It's just that it's just not common with us. Any questions about that? Yes?
Is that more socially, say you're going to a business or a store, would you greet them with a smile, or is that still not typical?
I think like a Walmart greeter situation, I think it's expected to see smiles there. It's just that when you're walking in the street, busy street, subway station, people will not smile. Discussing sensitive topics when you're meeting Koreans for the first time, I would suggest or recommend avoiding these topics. At least you get to know them and kind of figure out their sense of humor, or, you know, I've listed a couple of things that I can think of. Politics, religions, something about neighboring countries, North Korea, China, Japan, drugs, sexuality, mental health. All of these fun topics that I would enjoy talking about now, try avoid discussing first unless they bring it up, because I don't know like even when I meet Koreans for the first time, I don't know where they stand about having an opinion about China, Japan, or North Korea. So I usually wait until somebody brings up, and then I can engage that conversation. But maybe hold off of those topics when you're meeting Koreans as a client. But these are fun topics to talk about after you get to know them. I think we briefly touched on this last month during food and beverage section. Pouring your own drink in Korea, it's considered kind of, it's out of norm. We like to pour drinks for each other, so you'll always see glasses full. And if you are pouring your drink like the gentleman right here, it could look like you're impatient and you just want to get drunk. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that, but it's kind of like a nice gesture for the whole group to be pouring drinks for one another. So I think this is very kind of unique to Korean culture. In America, we just have our own bottle of beer or can of beer, so we don't really pour things, right? But in Korea, as I mentioned, we drink soju, which is the green bottle, so it's very pourable. So it's kind of like a friendly gesture that we pour for each other. Avoid these with Koreans, embarrassing someone in public, because we have the culture of saving face, you know, like reputation, how we're viewed in public. It's really important to Korean culture that it's best to not even having an argument in public. It's you'll get attention in Korea when the voice gets louder in public settings. So in TikTok, there are a lot of videos of Americans, you know, like raising their voices in Walmart because the lines are too long, or, you know, like somebody cut in line and they're making a big fuss about it. It does happen in Korea, but you don't see it as often as here, if that makes sense. So in private setting, definitely happens, but we try not to do this because we don't want people to lose face in public. All right, sitting with legs crossed or crossing arms in front of clients, especially first meeting or elders, is considered rude. Would you say this is the same case in America too? Maybe arms, okay. It kind of shows that like not really interested or yeah, it's okay. I mean, I find it really comfortable to cross my arms sometimes, but I need to be conscious when I'm in the same room with older Korean person or clients especially. Any questions about these? I feel like these could be kind of common sense and it's very similar to American culture. What do you guys think? Is it too different from American culture? Not really? Yeah?
Other than sharing appointments.
Oh, sharing the drink. Well, that is right, yeah, pitcher. I guess we do have that pitcher concept. But if you're drinking like bourbon or whiskey, would you pour for one another? Yeah, it's you're on your own, right? You pour your own drink, but yeah, I guess that's one distinctive thing that only in Korea happens. Any questions? Okay, so let's talk about body language. I have a, let's just play this video, okay. Body language and hand gestures.
Kit Kat, check out these new glasses I got. They let me see the world from a Korean's perspective. Don't believe me? Here, try them. So, how do I look? Hey, Kit Kat, you want to get some lunch together? My treat. Come on now. Come on, let's go. Come on.
Come on, hurry up You little punk bear. Get over here.
Come on, Cat. What's wrong? I guess these work better than I thought. And I guess Korean body language is more different than I expected. So before you make any embarrassing mistakes, let me show you all about Korean body language. 그럼 시작할까요? Kimchi. Cat, you're not even doing the V. Now we have to take it again. Let me teach you some Korean body language. First, the most basic body language is just making a V for victory, or the peace symbol. The V has been a popular hand symbol when taking photos in Korea and other parts of Asia since the 70s. But since everyone already knows that, let's get into some more specific body language. This next one is frequently used wrong. Even though this looks like go away, it actually means come here. And you do it with your palm facing downward like this. But be careful never to do it with your palm facing upward. This means that you're asking for a fight, like bring it on. Huh. Hey boss, could you come here for a second? How about you're fired? Well, that's a bit of an overreaction, don't you think? Or you can tell someone to leave by making the same motion, but with your whole arm instead. Next, let's talk about shaking hands. Whenever you're shaking someone's hand in a formal situation, such as for business, it's polite to support your right elbow with your left hand. Or to be even more polite, you can also shake using both hands. The same goes when receiving a gift. Support your right elbow or just use both hands. Here are a few more hand symbols you can use. To tell someone no, one way you can do that is by making an X with your arms. It looks like the X on a traffic sign, and it's a useful way to say that something's no good. When you're talking about money, you can make the OK symbol, but hold it horizontally like this. If you want to ask your friends out for a drink, just pretend you're holding a small glass and take a sip of it. Just don't overdo it. And anytime you want to point at someone, always do it with an open hand like this. Just pointing at someone with one finger is considered rude. Something else that you can do with your hands is make promises. Specifically, you can make a pinky promise with someone by locking your pinkies together. But if that's not official enough for you, make sure to stamp your thumb to theirs. Now that you've made your stamp, you better sign it too. And of course, it's 2019 and everyone needs a digital copy, so get a scan made too. On second thought, just stick with the pinky promise. Simpler is better. Another thing you can do with your hands is give out hearts. Wait, I had a... Oh. There we go. You can give someone a heart by using your thumb and index finger like this. Or if you want to show even more love, make it bigger and over your head, like this. And if you've still got more love to give someone, try shooting them with love like this. Wait, no, I'm sorry, I love you.
Did any of that shock you or surprise you? Which part?
Most of it.
Most of it? So, like, the come here part is very confusing, right? So, I guess, like, that is kind of like, we do this to, like, call our dogs, like, our way, like, come here, or, yeah, literally, like, bring it on, let's fight. And then we do this, like, come this way. Do you guys ever use this body language in your lives? You've never done yeah, like come this way. I guess just easy way would be using just both hand, like open hand and point something. I think like, oh, like come here. I think they'll be easier. I honestly like as long as you're using like all of your hand, I think it's fine. But like one thing that's so rude to Koreans, it will be like using one finger to point, like, hey you, like, oh, I'm so sorry. It just feels wrong, even to show as an example, like, hey you, like you did this, like, oh, I mean, it doesn't feel good in American culture, right? Like, I'm talking to you. Do you feel okay when I do this? Just fine? Okay. Just in Korean culture. What else was, do you think it's not? Oh, the heart, yeah, that's weird, yeah. I think it's like the K-pop culture is really pushing this through. What else was weird to you? Or is there anything that we do in American culture that you think might be confusing to Koreans? What body language or hand gestures do you guys use? And I can tell you if it's confusing to Korean culture. Yeah.
What about fist bumps?
Fist bumps? I think since COVID, I think it became universal to do fist bumps. So I think we're good there. Can you think of any body languages, hand gestures? Thumbs up? Yeah, we use it heavily. I think Facebook started it, so we're all good there. Stop? Ooh, that's a good one. Like, do we use that? Stop. Please stop. Maybe for police officers, but please stop. I think we might do like a little, like a bump, like stop, 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 stop. Yeah. Interesting. Oh, you got me there. Yeah. Anything you can think of.
High five.
High five? Yes. I think we do that. I think we started young. I think it's one of the things parents wanted to teach us. High five. Yes.
Does it matter who initiates a handshake in a business deal?
I don't think so. I think usually, like if you are if you're hosting the meeting, and I think they expect you to initiate the handshake, I think it's very universal. Yeah. Any other questions? What is that? Oh.
So I am a very physical talker. Like
Yes,
this.
yes.
Very.
Mhm.
Is that yes? So, I talk with my body.
Uh-huh.
Is that?
I don't think so.
So you still.
I don't-
emotionless.
No, as long as it goes with the flow of what you're saying, I think it'll make sense. But if you're like raising your voice and doing that, I think that might confuse people. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Koreans watch a lot of Hollywood movies and we see a lot of gestures, right? Over exaggerated gestures. So I think we'll be okay. Yes.
I know we talked about not touching or hugging, but what about each other? If you are now,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they can be as touchy as they like. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's just not common to see like first meeting or, yeah, people you've met a couple times, probably not. Yeah. Okay, we're good to move on. If you can think of any gestures, let me know. When I was training Star Plus Energy, I played a video where Koreans were given hand gestures, like a picture of hand gestures, and they were guessing what that looks like. This, like crossing fingers, a lot of Koreans guess that it means you have to, like, I need to use the bathroom. Like crossing their legs. Like no one guessed this was good luck. Like I never thought about that. So that was one. And like this, like so, like we don't use that in Korea. And they guessed, what did they guess? I think they kind of guessed what this could mean. Another thing was, what was another thing? Like everybody got money, right?
what about blowing kisses?
Yeah, that's common, yeah.
Do they have a gesture for good luck? Or is
No,
that
I think we just say good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know where this came from.
It's the way you hold it.
I think it makes sense, so that'd be kind of nice, you don't have to ask for the extra minute.
Yeah, like, it's urgent. I need to go. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, so, okay. One thing that's unique in terms of body language, we bow. If you guys attended our first training, we bow when we meet another, for those that are new. Like, there's a different degree of bowing. The deeper you go, the deeper appreciation you like to show. Like if I'm meeting Samsung CEO for the first time, I probably would do like 90-degree just to show my appreciation. But you would see that a lot, and I've seen this in Koreans that are coming to America for the first time. They learned, like, we just wave in America. I've seen this Korean person doing both at the same time, because bowing is just, you know, muscle memory to them when they meet another person for the first time, and they learned in America that you just wave hi, so he was doing both at the same time. But you might see that. And frequent nodding. So it just means that you're being listened to with details. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm agreeing with you. Do you guys do that at all? Like, yeah, like I'm listening, but doesn't mean I'm saying yes to what you're saying, but I get what you're saying. So just wanted to throw this out there. Also, the X sign actually came from the video too, but waving with the arms stretched out, meaning we do this in a way like when someone is trying to give you a big gift, and the first reaction Koreans will do is, oh, it's okay, I'm okay. You don't have to do this, go all the way to please me, like it's okay. Do you guys ever do this at all? Like both hands out and like shaking?
Not if it's a big gift.
Give me. Yeah, so it could look like I'm like kind of like waving as a greeting, but it could mean no or no. How do you guys say no with your body? No finger. Oh, I guess you don't see this in Korea often. Okay. Just say no, right? And I sometimes see this when people meet Asians in general, thinking that this is how we say hi to each other all the time. I think maybe yoga practices maybe started this, but doing the prayer hands. We only do this when we're going to a Buddhist temple, but this is how you say hello in Nepal, India, I think sometimes Thailand, a couple Southeast Asian countries. But to say hello in Korea, we usually bow lightly or just simple wave, they'll do. Another thing you guys hadn't thought of yet, I think this is American thing, maybe Italian too, shoulder shrugging, to say, I don't know, like, or don't care, right? We do a lot of shoulder shrugging, right? It's just not common in Korea. To say, I don't know, they'll usually, shake their head or say, I don't know, verbally, but like, what the hell? Like, what? Yeah, it's just not common. So I shared this so that when you are naturally talking to someone from Korea and you feel like not talking but showing body gesture and it's just not coming across, you know why. There's that body language barrier. Long breaks in conversation doesn't mean anything negative or unpleasant. It's an expression of politeness and respect. There are many people who just cannot stand that awkward silence in conversation, and you just need to have a filler. But in Korea, it's okay to have silence, especially during business meals. Don't feel the pressure to talk all the time. If they're quietly eating, they're probably savoring what they're eating, and they're trying to enjoy the meal itself. You don't have to feel the pressure to talk all the time, to feel that silence. Does that make sense? Okay. Do you guys use 2 thumbs up at all in your daily lives? Yeah? All the time? Okay. 2 thumbs up. BJ actually on the way mentioned that sometimes in American culture we use it as a sarcastic way, like, yay, I'm here for another training, right? But in Korea, it means like absolute, something very positive, sign of approval or saying a big yes, like, yes, I will sign my credit card with you, David, yes, like that. So, sorry, I keep using you as an example. Here's something fun. In US, we do rock, paper, scissors, right? In Korea, we do, BJ confirmed that also in China, they do that. It's scissors, rock, paper, so it's in different order. And scissors, we use this sign, the gun, which is a big no-no in America, I guess. So it's something, I brought this up in case you come across doing this fun game with another Korean person and they do this at you, don't be alarmed. It's just what we do instead of scissors. Does anybody use this for scissors instead of this? Everybody does this, okay. Yeah, I guess we're just so sensitive about guns here. But yeah, in Korea we use this. Any questions about body languages? Yes?
So we talked about meals, so like if you're sitting, during eating, because I know like we probably all have the manners to not do this and stuff, but like you do, so what is appropriate during eating?
The same. I think if you're having like business meal, I guess sitting upright, like I think it's very pretty much same in American culture. Use your common sense not to just lean on the table to talk or something like that. Yeah, posture, just keeping upright, and I think, yeah, not too different, I would say, yeah. Except for using different utensils if you're having Korean meals, yeah. And making sure not to have your client to have empty glass. Make sure it's always filled. Yeah, there'll be a good gesture. Any other questions on body languages? Okay, if it comes up, just let me know. What's that one?
You said don't talk too much.
It's like enjoy the food, not just trying to make conversation. Like,
Right.
for us, it's different. We're always trying to fill conversations while we're eating. So
That is true. We usually try to have, like, I think in America we like to talk business during meal because it's usually during lunch, or you don't want to spend like 4 hours talking about business. But I think Koreans like to eat first and then have dessert while talking business, so maybe hold off after, I think they prefer to talk about the food or, your personal lives, nothing. You could talk about business, of course, but they tend to enjoy the meal because you're having a meal kind of thing, yeah. Okay, conflict management, fun topic. Oh, I love Joey, I love Friends. So I watched Friends so many times, so I learned all of my body languages and gestures from Friends. So air quotes, not used in Korea. Imagine that. And I checked with my friends from other countries, and it must be an American thing. Can you guys think of any other cultures that use air quotes to emphasize? No, right? It's so American. So when you're saying sorry in Korea, so I can think of situation where my mom caught me not doing my dishes or whatever for some stupid reasons, and she's scolding me. The protocol is to look down and look really sorry, right? It's kind of rude to look up at my mom and say, okay, I'm listening. No, that would only trigger more anger in my mom. So the protocol is to look, it's a good sense to look down and show submissive. I'm not saying that you should do this when you're apologizing, but when Koreans are apologizing to you, you feel like they're not making eye contact. They must not be serious when they're making apology. This is what we do culturally. So I just wanted to show that. So it's a way of acknowledging someone's mistake, and it's also accompanied by a little bow and a polite language saying that I'm sorry. So, yes.
What about saying, like, I'm sorry as in condolences for like the passing of a loved one?
Say it again?
Some sort of, what about saying I'm sorry as in like the passing of a loved one or offering condolences?
Oh. Like how to say it?
Yeah, do they still say I'm sorry, or do they, is there certain ways to address that?
Ooh, we actually don't say I'm sorry. There's a certain phrase that we say, like condolences in Korean. It's so funny, we don't say I'm sorry in situations like that. We say I'm sending my condolences instead. But in that case, I think there's a little like gentle pat. I know I said no touch, but I'm assuming it's a close relationship that you can send condolences. So yeah, in that case, that's a protocol. Let's see. So as I mentioned before, it's best to avoid criticizing someone verbally in public. It's just that culturally we want to maintain that harmony as a group. And you want to avoid someone losing face, especially in public. So it'll be your best bet to bring it to a, in a private setting to deal with that conflict. Yeah, losing face is a big deal in Korea that you definitely want to avoid. But we do our own way of managing conflict in Korea. When there's a truly a big conflict, start at the relationship level. So one-on-one would be the best way, and look for similarities. And it will be best to call for an intermediary that could actually come in and moderate the discussion. So I can think of a good example. I grew up with two sisters, so I'm the middle one of three, and I'm always a troublemaker, and it's always the other sister that's making me mad. So in that situation, I always call for mom, and then tell her the situation, and go from there. Like she's like the middleman that can be fair for both. Is it any different from American culture, you guys think? Or do you guys want to take care of it in public? Doesn't matter who's watching, kind of thing. Ooh, everybody's got so quiet. Right. For being polite, right? And in America, I mean, on shows when it's all drama, right? Everything's dramatic, but I hear phrases like, "You'll hear from my lawyers," right? You hear that a lot. Not in real life, right? Not too many, unless you're really a bad person. But you don't hear that phrase a lot in Korea. It's not common to have lawyers all the time in your phone book, unless you have there's a need for lawyers. So it's something we don't really say commonly. And if criticism is unavoidable, be cautious of how you phrase it and voice it. BJ taught me kiss, kick, kiss method. That will work in this case too. Highlight a couple of positive things first, and then go into what needs to be dealt with, and then go back to positive. It's like treating a kid, so same thing. Any questions on that? Yeah. Or just don't have conflicts, period. Just kidding, it's unavoidable. Gift giving, so I interviewed my friend. She's from Venezuela. She's married to a Korean gentleman that goes to Purdue University, and I wanted to pick her brain on what's different about Korean culture that she learned. So let's hear what she says.
You want some over there, but I think there's something and the people as a kid.
Many.
I think it's very come to make so you say, oh, do you want this? They say, oh no, thank you. Sometimes they are just trying to be educated.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
They try to be humble, so I will say that you need to ask more
More
time. Yeah, more
That's
time.
very good.
Yeah, I
That's
do
so
that
true.
a lot. Like someone, I go out to eat with someone, and they say, "Oh, I will pay." So I'm just like, "Oh, okay, thank you." But actually, they
You were supposed to fight.
Oh no, let me
Yeah.
pay. And
Yeah.
then-
Yeah. You learned it very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happened
Yeah.
before.
Sorry if you missed the first part of it. Does that make sense? Like how Koreans will say no, like at least 3 times, and then okay, if you insist on giving me stuff, okay, I'll take it. Like, it's kind of like being humble, but it can be very confusing to outsiders, right? Like, you said no, that means no, so I'll take that as a no. But in Korea, there's a little, like, if you go out to eat in Korea and you're treating someone for dinner and you see like a little gentle like body fisting because they want to treat you, and my friend wants to treat me, and there's a like little gentle fight there. It's so common to see that. But in America, if someone volunteers to pay, let them pay, right? But in Korea, there's a little gesture of like, oh no, please let me pay and treat you kind of thing. Is that confusing? I think it's confusing because I can never tell if they really want it or not. So I end up asking multiple times, like, I want to give you a gift. Would you please receive it? Some good tips on gift giving. Well, yes, Mark.
That one is confusing.
Yes.
Here's the obvious question. How do you know they're not finally just giving yanks, they're trying to get you off their back? I mean, how do they really say no and mean no? You never know. You have to get up to like 4 or 5 times and finally think, okay, I'm getting a test here.
I don't think we go above 3.
Okay.
So that could be a little tip. I know it's so unnecessary, right? If you just want to say yes. But I still do that too. Like if someone's offering me food, I first say no in case that person wants that food. But if BJ, yeah, he knows. If they insist I eat it, then I'll pretend I give an okay, I'll eat. But we should just say yes or no, right? Yeah. But we won't go over 3. So that could be a little trick, yeah. Yes, ma'am.
So would it be insulting if you were out and you told the waiter that you were paying? Would that be insulting to the Korean if you said, I've got, bring the check to me?
So to avoid that, I do a little trick that towards the meal, I would excuse myself and go to the bathroom, but I'm actually gonna give my credit card to the waitress to avoid the fight. But if you say that, they would raise up and say, oh, no, I can get this too, or something like that. So there'll be a little, yeah. It's fun, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Okay. But I've learned that in America, I just let other person pay, yeah.
If you ever paid the bill like you were saying, would that ever be construed as something in poor taste?
Say it again?
If you paid the bill without asking to someone you don't know very well, would that be considered poor taste?
I think they would appreciate it, but they might say, oh my God, you didn't have to do that for me, kind of thing. But they didn't have to pay, so they will really appreciate that. But they might show like, oh my God, like, why did you do that? You didn't have to do it, but thank you. Yeah, it's awesome culture. It could be confusing, I understand, but it's, if you don't know, it's okay to ask. Really, really ask. I think that will go the long way. Some tips for what not to do when it comes to gift giving: avoid multiples of 4. So number 4 in Korea is sa, which means death. It could also mean death. So anything number 4 is related, it's we try to avoid that. Like I think I've mentioned in Korea, there are a lot of buildings that don't have 4th floor. Of course, it's a 4th floor, but we don't call it 4th floor. It could just show letter F for floor. Yeah, it just means bad luck, number 4. So it's like how number 13 is bad luck in America. We don't like number 4. Avoid dark or black wrapping papers when you're wrapping your gifts, or write something in red ink. Thank you card in red ink it'll be weird, because we only write red ink when we're writing person that already has passed away. So it's again associated with death. So try to avoid that, and avoid too expensive gifts. I say that because if you give someone expensive gift, that is such a social burden on them to find something even more expensive to show appreciation for that gift. So let's go with moderately priced gifts. I don't know what that means, but moderately priced. And when you're choosing gifts, maybe go with something that could be meaningful for your potential client or guest, or something that your region is known for, something unique to Kokomo, or something from your culture, your background. And if you are invited to someone's house, and that's Korean national, make sure to bring a gift. It could be small. It doesn't have to be like a bouquet of fruits. Something small that everybody can enjoy together would be the best. So try not to be empty-handed. It could be wine, fruit box, tea, anything edible is always good to go. Any questions on gift giving? Yes, sir.
So on 4s, how often do they avoid that in like larger numbers as well? So like so I work in a bank. If it's a loan that would be regularly like $40,000, should you mess with that so it doesn't have a 4 in it at all? Should you make a loan like $39,000?
No, that should be fine.
Okay. I guess groups of 4 and like
Right.
4 fruits as a gift or something.
Right. I mentioned this to the hospitality training, like if your room has a number 4444, maybe don't give it to a Korean person, because that would be like just bad luck. They will not enjoy their stay. But they're not that sensitive about, loan's a loan. Nobody likes loans anyway. But yeah, good question. Any other questions? Okay, we're coming up with a summary here, and I will advertise. Our next training is going to be August 29th, and we're hoping to have local Koreans come and join so you can interact with someone that's not me, that's Korean, who could be more fun and entertaining for you guys. So we're trying to create like a interactive networking event with knowledge that you have gained over the course of the training. So if you guys have any other questions, we can do that. Was that a question? No? Okay. It's a quiet training today. I think it was it too confusing of a topic? No? Something new. If you guys want to really try to explore like body languages and stuff, I recommend watching K-drama on Netflix or Hulu. If the language bothers you, have it on mute and just look at their body gestures. I think it's sometimes fun to do that. So yeah, thank you guys for your attention, for your time. Hopefully we can see you in August. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. This concludes our time for this afternoon. Thank you again to our sponsor, Security Federal Savings Bank, and Dave for all their generosity in today's lunch. And thank you to a delicious lunch from Jennifer at Rosie's. And thank you to the Community Foundation of Howard County for making this entire series possible. And big thank you again to Sue. Another round of applause for her. And lastly, just thank you so much for your attendance here this afternoon. We've been so amazed at how eager the community is to learn about this culture coming and embracing our new neighbors. It shows how welcoming our community is, and taking the time here today shows that you're a positive force in our community. Please check out greaterkokomo.com/culture. We'll be uploading the videos of these sessions here shortly, and more information on the rest of the series. As Sue mentioned, our last session is August. If you're signed up, I'll be announcing that that venue is changing back to Ivy Tech for August to allow for some more networking. If you'd like to be placed on the wait list, we've been able to successfully get everyone on the wait list into each session. So make sure you let me know so that way we can get you in there. Thank you for your attendance, and hope you have a great rest of your afternoon. Thanks so much.